You had 5 people given immunity deals, you know, as a result of your so-called mistake, which brought it home. But there was a lot of time that he was given to exploit the issue, which has been a major issue in the campaign, and it went unused. He went back to the taxes and playing defense on that. We've got Trump speaking to our own Sean Hannity. We'll see whether he speaks to the journalists in this room after that interview. Let's listen.
Regulations. You talked a lot about things that I've talked a lot about, repatriating money. How much do you think would come back overseas? How many jobs do you think would be created?
Well, at least $2.5 trillion and many, many jobs, but at least $2.5 trillion. And again, she talks, you know, she's been talking for years, but nothing ever gets done. It's all talk. So I think I brought that out pretty well today, actually.
30 years she's been there. That was a big point. What about the fact that she said, you pointed out, you said go to her website, she's going to raise $1.2 trillion in taxes?
Well, I get even more of a kick where she says, go to my website, learn about how to defeat ISIS.
And buy her book.
Can you imagine this? How to defeat ISIS on a website. And that's not the way to defeat ISIS, believe me. How do you think General George Patton would feel about that? Go to his website. Do you think he'd have a website saying how he's going to defeat the enemy?
There was a moment when the second part of the debate, and they started talking about race, and you brought up that she had used that term super predator. Because she tried to play the race card, which her ads have done. Has that bothered you in the course of this campaign?
She used the word, well, you know, she's taken very dishonest ads. She's a very dishonest person. She took and used the word super predator about young black men. And I think it's a terrible term, and they don't like it. And it's, I mean, people, I guess, maybe they forget, maybe they don't forget. But I did want to bring it up.
What about the issues that also foreign policy, another big part of this debate tonight? Iran, Iraq, Syria, Afghanistan, and her role.
Look, Sean, you know, and I know she's been a disaster. And as you know, I used your name today because you and I used to argue over the war before the war.
I thought you forgot.
Before the war started.
You know how many times we had conversations about that?
Numerous times.
And you told me I was wrong. In fairness, for those people that are asking me in the media, you did tell me over and over again I was wrong. And we did have passion, but it was a respectful debate.
And it was respectful, and I understood where you were coming from, but I was against the war. I thought it would destabilize the Middle East. I didn't know it would be managed so badly, in all fairness, and neither did you.
Yeah.
But I really felt that it's something that had to be discussed because I was against the war in Iraq.
Let me ask you one last question, if I can, because the whole issue of the birther controversy, there was the Mark Penn memo that came out. There was a Sidney Blumenthal issue. There was a woman that worked in Texas for her, and then she acts like she had nothing to do with it.
The campaign manager, Doyle. No, she had a lot to do with it. You know it, and she knows it, and her campaign knows it, and I think now the world knows it.
Yeah. Last point. At the end of the debate, maybe a sign of desperation, she tried to attack you as sexist. What is your response to that?
Well, I didn't want to say her husband was in the room along with her daughter, who I think is a very nice young lady, and I didn't want to say what I was going to say about what's been going on in their life. So I decided not to say it. I thought it would be very disrespectful to Chelsea and maybe to the family, but she said very bad things about me. I mean, worse than what she said. She's taking these phony ads, spending hundreds of millions of dollars on phony ads, and I think it's a disgrace that she's allowed to.
Last question about her and you and your differences. What do you take out of this debate going into your next debate?
Well, she's never going to make America great again. It's very simple. It's just going to be more talk. You know, she talks like she's going to do childcare. She's going to do this. She's going to do that. She's been there for 26 years. For 26 years, none of these things have happened. Now, all of a sudden, they're going to happen? Not going to happen.
Mr. Trump, thanks for being with us. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I think very well.
And Sean Hannity speaking to Donald Trump moments after the debate, which is something we've seen from Trump in the past.